Hey y'all, I'm gonna show you guys how I created this ombre iridescent pastel blue and purple eyeshadow look using all eyeshadows from the drugstore. So I decided to skip the step showing you me filling in my brows, but I just used the NYX Tame and Frame eyebrow pomade in the shade Espresso. I wanted this tutorial to focus more on the eye look, so I'm jumping straight into the concealer I use to not just shape up my brows but also serve as a base for my concealer. And for that I'm just using the LA Girl HD Pro Conceal in the shade Toast underneath my brow, you know, to serve as a base for my lids. And to clean up the upper part of my brow, I use the shade Dark Cocoa. So for my base shade, I'm actually going to use a oldie but goodie palette in my collection. This is the L'Oreal Paris La Palette Nude 2. It's full of 10 shades, which are, you know, very nice, soft glam type of colors. And I'm going in with the mauve shade to use as my base for this eyeshadow look. To deepen up my base shade, I went with a smaller brush. This is an eyeshadow brush from e.l.f. and I'm using my NYX Ultimate Brights palette, and I'm going in with that, the darkest shade in the palette that you see, that purple right there. So to cut my crease, I'm gonna go in with the lightest shade of the ABH Contour Cream Kit. And this is the shade quote unquote nude, I know, but it actually works pretty well as a eyeshadow base for cutting my crease. It allows me to pack on these very bright or very pastel colors that may not necessarily show up on dark skin, especially if these shades are like similar to my undertone, because I do have cool undertones. But this concealer really is the OG when it comes to like cutting my crease. So if you have a contour palette and you see that you have a very light shade that you cannot use on your face to highlight, then use it for your eyeshadow, boo. For the crease, I'm actually applying 3 different shades. As you probably saw in the beginning of the video, I used a lavender shade, a periwinkle shade, and a sky blue shade. So for the lavender shade, I actually went in with my BH Cosmetics 88 matte eyeshadow palette and used one of the lavender shades. They have several. I don't know why. So as you can see, the middle shade that I have in the cut crease is a periwinkle color. And unfortunately, out of the 4 palettes I used, I do not have any type of periwinkle shade. I had to improvise and mix colors. So what I did was go in the NYX Ultimate Brights palette and I mixed the lavender shade you see and the darkest blue. I'm not too sure what color this is because none of them have names. And lastly, to get that blue shade on my lids, I mixed 2 different shades of blue in my BH Cosmetics palette. I mixed that bright sky blue you see here, as well as another cerulean shade in the BH Cosmetics palette. So I was unsure if I wanted to do this, but I decided I should definitely use a darker shade of blue just to deepen up the cut crease and show dimension and make these bright colors pop. Bright colors pop when you use darker colors against them. It creates contrast. So I decided to actually go in with my BH Cosmetics Take Me Back to Brazil palette, and I mixed that deep midnight type of blue that you see right there with the one of the purples. It's more of a matte cool tone purple. I just mixed those 2 shades together to create indigo. Now before applying my eyeliner and my lashes, I'm gonna go and jump into my face makeup. As you may have seen in my other videos, I just prefer, at least with the eyeliners that I have, to apply the rest of my eye makeup last, so my eyeliner won't accidentally get smudged, wiped off, because I want a very sharp wing eyeliner look, and you'll see later in the video. So before I apply foundation, I always like to conceal my face with a concealer around my skin tone just to avoid any hyperpigmentation. So I'm going back with that LA Girl HD Pro Concealer in the shade Dark Cocoa and just applying it anywhere I have dark marks, such as underneath my eyes, my chin, near my chin I have some spots, and then, you know, around my neck, etc., just to make sure that my foundation application just looks flawless. This is a primarily an eye look. I didn't want to show too much with the face, but I did prime with the NYX Hydra Touch face primer. For foundation today, I'm using the L'Oreal Infallible 24-hour fresh wear foundation in the shade Deep Amber. Now, I'm thinking, part of me is thinking I should probably use my high-end foundation since this quarantine ain't going to end anytime soon and I don't want it to expire. But at the same time, like, what if it does end soon and then I used up all my good foundation? I might as well use the drugstore one, right? Let me know what y'all think. For concealer to highlight, I'm using two shades from LA Girl. I'm using the HD Pro concealers in Beautiful Bronze and Toast. Now, Toast used to be my original highlight shade, but I realized, you know, sometimes I feel like it's more the undertone. It's a little too cool sometimes, so I feel like it could come off away depending on lighting. But Beautiful Bronze is the perfect match. But I decided to mix them because I'm running low on Beautiful Bronze, and as you may know, the beauty supply stores are closed, and even if they were open, I'm staying my ass inside. So yeah, we're gonna mix these. We're gonna make do because we're not going anywhere. But the furthest I'm going is the bedroom to the living room. To set my concealer, I'm gonna use the Black Opal Soft Velvet Finishing Powder in medium. This is my go-to setting powder on a, for an everyday look or just, quarantine makeup. But yeah, if it ain't the L'Oreal Mercier powder, I'm using this one. And it definitely helps, if you need a setting powder to serve as a base for your eyeshadow as well as just highlight your face. To contour, I'm going to use my Black Radiance True Complexion Contour Palette in Dark to Deep. And I'm using both the contour and the sculpt shade to contour my chin, yes, to contour my chin as well as contour my cheeks. I wanted to flip the order. So contour my cheeks and contour my chin. And to contour my nose, I later go in with just a sculpt shade because as you can see, the contour shade is pretty deep, a little too dark for me. So I always have to mix the two powders. What I like to do before, adding my highlighter and my blush is I like to make sure that my whole entire face is blended out and there are no harsh lines. And I like to take my Black Radiance pressed powder in the shade Black Coffee and make sure everything's blended together. Before actually finishing my highlight and my blush, I actually went back to my eyes. I did my eyeliner using two eyeliners, the NYX Epic Wear eyeliner in white and the NYX Epic Ink eyeliner in black. So you can't forget the lashes. That's what makes the look pop. So I'm using my go-to eyelashes, the Velux Lashes by Eye Envy. So for the inner corner of my eye, I always like to go in with a nice golden shade. This single eyeshadow is from Catrice Cosmetics, and it's their long-lasting eyeshadow in the shade. Yeah, y'all would have thought I was saying that. For blush, I'm using the e.l.f. blush palette in the shade Dark, and I'm taking the two darkest colors of the palette and applying that on my cheekbones just to give my face some warmth. Unfortunately, I had to cut out the part where I actually applied the eyeliner. I'm sorry for this, but I realized I was practically out of frame. You would have barely saw me put on the eyeliner. For my highlight, the same old Wet n Wild loose highlighter, the Wet n Wild Mega Glow loose highlighter in the shade Hustle and Glow. This is one of my favorite I want to say one of my favorite products from the drugstore that I bought within like the past few years. It does its job, very pigmented. I can use it both for eyeshadows and for a highlight. To set my face, since I'm not going anywhere, but I gotta make sure the foundation's in place, I use the Mario Bada School facial spray with aloe, cucumber, and green tea. So for my lips, I decided to mix two colors to get a nice ombre nude look. I used the MAC Cosmetics Liptensity Lipstick in the shade Double Fudge for my base, and to top that off, I used the Ofra Cosmetics Long Lasting Liquid Lipstick in the shade Ball Harbor. That is it for this makeup look. Thank you so much for liking, following, subscribing, just watching my content. If you like what you see, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.